Hey everybody, I'm Ben Grimico. I'm from Internachi. That's the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. And we do free online live webinars just about every week. And some of the boring webinars, those are the ones that I'm doing about home inspections. The really exciting ones are when we have special guests. And today we do have a special guest, and it's a coaching session, really. So what I really admire is when we have certified master inspectors, experienced inspectors, successful inspectors, just sharing tips on what they do to be successful as home inspectors and operate successful home inspection businesses. And we have John and Amy Grimaldi from Orange Blossom Inspection in Mount Dora, Florida. That's in the heart of Florida, Central Florida. And they want to just talk about what they do in their business and share some of their insight and experiences and give some advice and tips to you. Now, you may be attending this live webinar. If you are, fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to ask questions. So somewhere on your screen, you've got a little Q&A button or a chat button. Feel free to hit that and ask questions at any time. I'm going to bring that chat button, chat window and question window up so I can see your questions. And feel free, again, to ask anything to me, Ben, John, or Amy, as we talk about home inspections, performing inspections, business, marketing, tips, and things like that. And if you are watching this as a YouTube video after the live webinar, that's fantastic too. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. You can do a search for Orange Blossom, or you can just email me. I'm at the education team on the contact page. And let's see. So one thing, John and Amy, they're having a little difficulty with sound, but I think we've got it now. So if you're having problems listening, feel free to chat me, and we'll tell John and Amy to move that microphone a little bit closer. John and Amy, how are you?
We're doing great. How about you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. I know you guys do a ton of inspections, just to share some of the insight that you have on home inspection business. I really appreciate it. You guys are certified through Internachi, certified professional inspectors, and certified master inspectors. That's the best of the best. And I really appreciate that as well. That's fantastic. How is it being a member of Internachi, if I may ask?
It is, well, to make it short, you guys have built the company we are. I started out with 30 years experience in building homes, and I actually got a home inspection, and it was terrible. And I was so mad. And my buddy, who knows me very well, he kind of said, oh, you'd be a great inspector. That'd be the next level for you. And your school was the first one I saw, and instantly I knew it was the right move for us, and it built our company. It literally did. As we went through the beginning steps to the middle steps to now being a master home inspector, every level brought us where we are today.
And how is business down in Florida, Central Florida?
We're slammed. We're slam busy. We're at least 2 weeks out, and that's with the COVID. I mean, we didn't even slow down. A lot of people took a little bit of a slow hit. We didn't hit it at all. We stayed busy, and we're still busy, which is a great thing. It's always good to be busy.
So how do you handle a full schedule? What do you do when, like, you're booking out 2 weeks in advance and people want it tomorrow?
Well, that is a tricky one. You know, you just have to work your schedule, you know, and see what fits best. You know, sometimes if you're going to be in a certain area and you know that you've got a smaller sized home that's a newer home, it's not going to take you as long. So you can just, you know, double up on inspections. You know, we try really hard to manage that. Luckily, right now we're in the long days of our season, so we can do afternoon inspections, and it's not so bad. We have to deal with the rain, but because it rains every day, so we just try and hope. We keep our fingers crossed that it's not raining while he's on the roof. But otherwise, you know, we just do what we can to, you know, to get them in, but also provide great quality customer service while we're there with them.
Yep. And sometimes, you know, when I was very busy, sometimes you got to say no. And sometimes you got to take those extra jobs and give them to your friendly competitors. Do you sometimes have to say no? And what do you do with a disappointed real estate agent?
Oh, you do. And, you don't like to do that, but, sometimes those realtors, if they really want to use you, they'll ask for an extension or, something like that. You have those that will really push to use you in their inspection. Here in Florida, it's a good ethical practice. And I think I don't know if it's, required, but they should give out 3 home inspection companies so that the client can choose. The realtor has a lot of leeway and pull with the client. So a lot of times they will use their recommendations. We do fall into that, but you just kind of handle it as it goes. And they have trust in you to know that you're trying your best to get them in. And, you just got to keep up good relations with everybody. That's really important. Yeah.
What'd you do before home inspections?
Oh, I built homes. So, well, actually, right before I did home inspection, I was a wildland firefighter for here in Lake County. So I actually bring a lot of firefighting qualities to my inspection. After that, I was building homes here, or before that, I was building homes here when I first moved to Florida. So I literally have 15 years up north, and then I've been here 30 years, so 15 years down here. And then I started with the wildland firefighting, and that's when we bought our home. And I had a bad inspection, and it sent me on my way. So, yeah, it all comes into play. I tell new inspectors on the mentorship thing all the time, use your qualities. I had a last gentleman that I talked to. He was actually, ready for this, he was a hairdresser. And he didn't think, he had a trouble transitioning into that field of being that, home inspector, knowing all the construction stuff. And I said, listen, start with, you have to have a great personality. You have to know, as a hairdresser, I'm using all his, best qualities. I'm saying, look, you got to pay attention to detail. Home inspection's all detail. So it really worked for him, and I got his confidence up. And now next I'm trying to get him on, to do a roof, and that's a different thing. But I'm still working with him, so
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
You're absolutely right. That's a good tip. Like, yeah, even the hairstylists, they have the gift for gab. They can talk to anybody. Yeah,
that's right.
As a home inspector, you got to be able to talk and walk and inspect all at the same time.
What I'm seeing is because I've been in the mentorship now a few years now, and I'm seeing every person has some kind of quality that's great for home inspection. So for sure.
Okay, so what if everybody becomes a home inspector? You got way too much competition down in Florida. You got everybody being a home inspector. There's so many home inspectors around you. How do you compete? How do you compete with so many home inspectors around you? There's a lot of home inspectors in Florida.
Well, I'd like to answer that because what I do in our business is I do customer service. And, like you just said, there's so many aspects of home inspection. It's not just learning the trade and going out there and pointing at things and, pointing things out to your clients. You have to be able to talk with them because that's what builds their confidence in you and your company. So, we really focus a lot on customer service. We like to be a client's inspector. We work a lot with realtors, but our goal is to make the client feel comfortable. We're there for them. And so we try and set ourselves aside by being very thorough in our verbal inspection. And then also in the reporting process, when they get their reports, we do same day reporting. We offer a lot of benefits to them. We offer thermal imaging in every inspection, and we followed a lot of what you suggested, like, you add things to your inspection without cost. So we do pools. Most everybody down here has a pool. So we include that in our inspection in the cost of the inspection. We don't charge extra for it. A lot of guys down here, they charge extra for everything. So, we have kind of looked around. I follow our competition. Every few months I call our competition as a client and find out how they answer their phones, how they do all their, now they've got my secret.
You're calling your competitors and seeing how they answer the phone?
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. You'd be amazed at how many of them just say hello. No, don't do that.
Or now with their phone it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've paid attention to those things. I've had a huge customer service background and marketing background. So I bring that to the table, and I try and tap into all those. It's, it's about attention to details, and that's what we focus on, and we've also used a lot of the Internachi. We used you guys to build our logo. You guys did a fantastic job. Here's our logo card. You guys did such a great job. And we've followed things in marketing, like, you talked about your peaches that you used to bring. I bring honey bears, because we're Orange Blossom Honey, or we're Orange Blossom Home Inspection. So, we bring honey, and, we give them to the clients, and it's just those little tweak things that we try. And word of mouth has been fantastic for us. Google reviews have been fantastic for us. So that's how we chose to go at it.
So I know you guys wanted to talk about some particular topics, and I'm kind of interrupting you, but I do have one more question. Yeah. What about the so this is July 2020. We're in the middle of the pandemic. Well, how do you guys deal with face masks and keeping people making them feel comfortable, whether they are wearing a mask or not, and not making it an issue and still trying to do your job? I mean, running a business is really difficult. Now you've got this to juggle with, where there's some emotions involved in whether or not you should wear a mask or not and what that means. How are you dealing with all this?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ben. And it's confusing down here in Florida, because everybody down here in Florida is confused. And you literally will get from one extreme to the other. So you walk into a home and everybody in the home's wearing a mask. So as a home inspector, you're an observationalist. So you observe everything. And when you walk into that home, regardless if you observe they don't have mask on or not, you set the precedence. If I walk in, I have my mask on. And I physical distance, right? So they instantly get that vibe. And with that in place, it all just stand. Now, I do not really like to, especially through the whole thing, I literally will pull the sign outside. I want 6 feet between us, and we're outside. Amy actually performs a lot of the interior inspection stuff, and she's wearing a mask the whole time. But when we do the actual talking, especially with realtors, we bring them outside, and that's a huge start and a finisher way to do that. And if you do it in the beginning, you do it to the end. How they want to do it, that's up to them. I'll be honest with you, most clients don't wear masks, but we still set that precedence. We have everybody's health to worry about, including every inspector out there. We all should be wearing our gear.
Yep.
Which I just heard, I don't know if this is related, but Cornell is in their third phase of vaccine testing for COVID. So they're saying by fall, we might be able to get a vaccine out there, and we're hoping for that.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yep.
So when somebody hires your company, they get 2 inspectors essentially, right?
They do. So I'm more of an assistant, but it really works out because with both of us going out there, we can provide that customer service that is so important to me. And that also, like we said, sets us apart. So they're getting 2 inspectors. John does the outside, all the components. And then, I just run the numbers on the air conditioner. I'll check for leaks in the bathrooms. I'll, check the interior and those kinds of things. And then that also gives me a chance to talk with the clients. I'm also, if there's sellers there, I can chat with them a little bit and make them feel comfortable about us being in their home all day. And, so it's a really good thing. It's worked for us. It's our brand. We've really built a good brand with the 2 of us being a good team.
You would be a terrible competitor if we were in the same market. You would have killed me, because I'm just, we started off with 3 inspectors doing 3 inspections a day, and we got a lot of feedback that wasn't all that great, because the customer felt like we were just blown through the house. Then we went to 2 inspectors, right, which was really great. And then I remember my business partner, Dan, he hurt his shoulder, had to get surgery. So we had to split for a little bit. And then we learned that, we really make more money when we do inspections on our own. We're doubling the number of inspections that we do. But we kind of lost what you were talking about, Amy, that customer service. Boy, I would love to have an assistant. I can do maybe the hard technical things, or we could split the hard technical stuff and and maybe switch off. Somebody does the roof one week and then the other person does the roof the other week. But having that other person, I always hated, not hated, I was hesitant about talking. I'm not a good talker. My vocabulary is real low. So if I had somebody there to do all those things for me, that would be fantastic. And if we were competing, you'd just be blowing me out of the water with customer service.
Well, it actually does a really strong tool for us that if we get a woman that's very hesitant to talk, she's perfectly in place to do that. I do speak well with women, but men go with men and women go with women, and sometimes inspections work that way. And to have both there available to you is, it's absolutely massive. I want to add real quick too, this brings me to a topic that I hear a lot from the mentorship, which is reading your client. If Amy will meet a client that's a man and she wants to talk to him about the AC, if she feels that he doesn't feel comfortable talking to her, she will quickly, say, hey, handle this, and I'll go in there and jump in. But what that does is it makes the client so comfortable, and whether or not, how we handle it, it really works on the fly, and that's huge. And another thing too, because she goes with us and she also does the marketing, when she markets us in the beginning, the fact that she knows the inspections, when you hear her on the phone talk about, what the client can expect, they'll have questions about the inspection. She's not going, hey, talk to the inspector. No, she knows about it. So she can say right then and there how we do our inspections.
Yeah, exactly.
That's absolutely huge.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody wanted to know your website address. Matt is asking, can you share your website address?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it OBHIFL? I don't know what it is.
That's correct. Yep, OBHIFL.com.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yep. Matt also asked, what category should I set up my business as an LLC or sole proprietorship? Well, I would first say, we're just home inspectors, so we're not going to give all these legal things advice, but you should get a local business attorney and get some help that way. And set up your business not as a sole proprietor, but set up as a corporation of some kind, like an LLC, a partnership. So being a sole proprietor is a good idea, but your attorney is going to probably refer you to setting up a corporation. Would you agree?
Well, we have a tax consultant. We also have an attorney that we have on standby. So, we consult with them both. At this point, we're comfortable with being an LLC. That may change, but we're adaptable. So, it just depends on you as an individual and what the professionals are giving you advice on.
Yep. Hey, what did you want to talk about before I started asking you questions?
No, that's fine. I've been in the mentorship. I've been a master home inspector now for 3 years, and I've been in the mentorship program almost as long. And I am always amazed that when people come into the industry, some of the questions that they have are basically, they're all about pretty much the same thing, and it's all about confidence. They seem to be, how do I gain confidence? And one of the biggest things is the tools and the formula that they pre-set up for themselves. If you have that in place, it builds your confidence. And what I mean by that is have a good template, have a good software for your home inspection. As you grow as an inspector, grow your template. And this cannot be done unless you're educated. And through that, Internachi offers every single tool for that education, whether it's online classes or it's your amazing video, all your video tools that you have on your channel, Ben. I use it all the time when people will say, well, how do I do a home inspection? Can you do a walkthrough with me? And I'm like, okay, well, I can do that. I mean, it's hard because I don't want to take them on a job. But, you know, oftentimes I'll say, I'll come over to your house and I'll do yours. But oftentimes I'll send them to your channel because you have probably, 30 or 40 videos now of all full inspections. And then they come back with a lot of questions. And most of them are, you know, how do I get on a roof? And one of my biggest suggestions to them is start small. Get on a roof that's the size of a shed. And once you're comfortable with that, build your way up. And I will tell them that, you know, you mind your SOP. You don't have to do a roof. Our brand, like yours, when you had Peach, is I climb every roof. But I also used to roof, just like you did. A lot of people going into the trade didn't. So yeah, go comfortable and be safe. That's number one. Be safe. And then work your way up to the taller roofs. Yep.
Rudy is asking, what formulas do you use to price your services? How do you price a profitable service fee?
Well, we did the calculation that you provided. I took the marketing course, you know, through Internachi, and you know, you provide a calculation. So we did that, and you know, that is a very good question because, you know, as we find in the industry, especially here in Florida, you know, South Florida is very different than North Florida prices, and Central Florida, you know, we're kind of all over the place too. And it depends on if you're in the city or if you're outside the city. But, you know, a lot of inspectors, when they get started out, you know, they don't tap into their confidence. And so they're pricing their inspections low. And that does not do the industry well at all. You're undercutting all of us when you do that. So you really, you know, price yourself at a good price. You know, I think you use the example, if you want to make $100,000 a year, use this calculation, and, you know, you can see what you want to price yourself out at. Now, we charge a little bit more because, one, he's a master certified inspector, and that's quality. We also know and confidently can say that we provide a very good product to our clients. So, you know, we stand on that and we stand behind all of our reports. But where we do give a little leeway is in the ancillary inspections. So if they get a 4-point, or here in Florida, we have what's called a wind mitigation that will, here in Central Florida, it's not required, but it'll give you a discount on your insurance if you have certain things on your home that will withstand hurricane force winds. So if they purchase those with an inspection, we give a discount, and it's a decent discount. We also offer discounts to military and first responders, you know, so we give discounts and we show people that we care. You know, even with the wind mitigation, this is one of our trade secrets, but with the wind mitigation, we recommend that they don't purchase it on the day of inspection. They still get the discount, but if they purchase it after they don't know if they're going to get to the closing table. So that's one way we show them that we care, is by saying your nickels and dimes are very important to you. So hold on to that extra money until you know you're getting to the closing table and it applies to you. Don't spend it now, wait on that. And then we always get a call back for that wind mitigation.
That's fantastic. So you delay providing a service. You could sell them up front and convince them.
Well,
but you tell them you delay the service until it's just the right time.
Right, but we also, John does all the legwork for that wind mitigation inspection on the day of, whether they purchase it or not. So we don't have to go back out there, and that's how we can provide the discount.
That's great. That's a great tip. That's awesome.
Yeah, it works great, Ben, because when we're doing it, that's the time to sell it. So when you walk into that wind mitigation, you're like, hey, listen, I'm performing this day. Let me tell you a little bit why it's going to keep you safe, right? We're providing you the service. They don't even care about the cost. And you just multiply that time, whatever talent you have for your brand and your company. So a lot of guys have different things they go after. Mold is a big thing here in Florida. You know, everything is wet. You know, even the most common surfaces are just from humidity alone can create that environment. And, you know, with that and talking about some really touchy subjects, don't be an alarmist, be an educator. And if you talk to the client as an alarmist, they're going to feel that, and realtors feel that, and they're going to back away from you quicker than ever. The biggest compliment I got, it was actually my last inspection, is a realtor literally said to me, you should teach home inspection. I'm like, well, I do mentoring. So, she felt it, and it's in my brand. It's in how I do my inspections. They feel that. So, if you are it, they'll feel it.
We love what we do, and that comes through in everything we do.
Yep. Let's see. Freddie asks, what areas do you serve in Central Florida? How far out do you go? Will you go 20, 40 miles out? What's your radius?
Yeah, so we literally, that's our average inspection. So we live in the country, and so Orlando literally is about an hour from us, and a lot of our inspections are in old Orlando. These houses are 100 years old. But yeah, we literally on the average go an hour, but we tell clients we'll go coast to coast. So we'll go to Daytona to Cocoa, or we'll go to Jacksonville to all the way down to the Keys if we have to.
Do you charge for that travel time, or do you charge extra for far away places?
No, we don't charge extra for mileage. We know that since we live a little further out that we're going to have to travel. So that's just, again, that kind of goes back to we charge a little extra, and the only time it really poses a problem is when there's a re-inspection, because we don't charge a lot for re-inspections. So if we get called out, that happened one time when we were in Cocoa Beach, and it was fine for the inspection, but then they wanted a re-inspection, and I'm like, oh goodness, that just cut into our profits.
So what you're saying re-inspection? What is that? What is a re-inspection?
So re-inspection is where, say, their air conditioner didn't work that day, and then they got it fixed, and they wanted us to come back out. Yeah. That's a slippery slope, honestly, because, when you do re-inspections, you're the last man out now. So the liability has to be on your mind, and you really have to look at that as a business owner and decide whether you want to do a re-inspection service for your clients or not. And oftentimes we will let them know that we will not do their re-inspection. We will, take their information from them that they got the air conditioner fixed, and adjust things accordingly. But you tend to not want to be the last man out.
Matt asked, oh, sorry, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just want to quickly add to that. It is so important when you do a re-inspection to make sure you clarify what you will re-inspect, meaning we tell clients the most important parts of a 4-point. So that would be the roof, the HVAC, the electrical, and the plumbing. And again, it's the bigger parts. You're not going to come out for a small valve leak or something small. A lot of times we base our re-inspections around current inspections. So if they're right down the road, we'll absolutely swing by and just check it out. Again, this is about how they view you, and you're laying an impression down on them. That's pretty memorable. If you just swing by and be like, oh, we're in the area, we'll go ahead and take care of you. They feel that.
Yeah. And what services do you provide? What are your most ordered services? What are your most popular services? Home inspections, 4-point, wind mitt, mold?
Yep, those things. So, what you mentioned, the full inspection, the 4-point, and the wind mitigation are our top inspections that we provide. Sometimes we'll do just a 4-point for people who might be buying investment property. We'll encourage them to just do a 4-point. We do full inspections, and then we encourage them to do a 4-point because we let them know that you really should not send your full inspection to insurance companies. They could pick it apart. And here in Florida, we have so many variables that could affect insurance company pricing and what they'll accept, and if they'll accept you as a client. So we recommend that they send the 4-point only to them. So, and then, anything older than 25 years, of a home that's older than 25 years, they require a 4-point at insurance companies. So, most times we sell it as together, and then the wind mitigation as well. We do not do mold inspections. Most of the time that we find mold is around the HVAC unit at the handler. And so those are not things that they would need a mold evaluation for. but we will tell them, we include that in our thing, that we found evidence of and that they should hire a professional to come out and inspect it further.
Yep. And what about commenting on termites?
So, the WDO is the wood destroying organism inspection, and what we do is we coordinate that time with a pest control company. I let them know that John has the certification through Internachi to see evidence of. But I know here in Florida, I don't know about everywhere else, but you have to be employed by the Department of Agriculture to be able to submit the form. So we work with a pest control company. I let the client know that they can call anybody, but if I coordinate it with them, I can get them out there at the same time that we're there, and it's much easier on the client, and then they handle it from there. I don't do any billing for them. I don't do any sending of reports for them. It is all on them for liability reasons, but, but we will coordinate it for them.
Yeah. Yep, I did the same thing in Pennsylvania. You got to be licensed. You got to enter your license number on the form. But that didn't stop me as a home inspector to look for anything that damages the house, and that's water, wind, moisture, and bugs. So I just wasn't allowed to identify the bug. I just said the T word. I believe this is the T word. We've got questions from a few people. Do you mind answering questions?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. What's the most important elements of your home inspection report software? What software do you use? Give a shout out to your software, and what's really good about it? Why do you like your software?
Right. Well, here's the thing. So Ben, back 4 or 5 years ago when you first started, you recommended a little software called HomeGauge, and I am stuck with it. The customer service is amazing. And you know what? It may not be the most advanced new technology web browsing, but it is amazing in how much I can change it. So I can write my own templates, and I can be inside my comments, and the talk to text is wonderful because a huge part of my template is talk to text on the fly when I'm on the inspection. I've been doing this. I got well over thousands of inspections. My software literally probably has a few hundred comments per some of the bigger sections like the exterior and stuff like that. But the point is, what I want to tell the people out there, the HomeGauge is great, but any software you decide to go with, make sure that you build the template as you build your company. And there's always room for improvement. Just yesterday, I did a brand new 11th month inspection. That home was not even 10 months old, and I still came home and made changes to my template on a brand new home. So you'll find ways that you'll need to fix your template. And it helps you when you go to write your report at the end of the night. I know you like to be home at 5 with your family, and I'm the same way. But, putting your time in and read it, yeah, and HomeGauge is wonderful for that. And, again, shout out to their customer service. It's really what sold me on them. They help me anytime I need help or anything that goes on with the software, so I can't promote them enough.
Yep. Yeah, same here. When HomeGauge shows up to a convention, they bring their team. They have a huge team of people to provide that service for all their users. It's a really good. It's very impressive, and also you're absolutely right about.
Go ahead. I was going to say I literally know a few of them by name.
Yeah. That's a good thing. That's definitely valuable.
Yeah.
You got a good relationship, and also you're correct. Like every day, there's always something to tweak and make better in the way you say it. So you're always like editing what you say and making it faster and more concise and more easy to read and understand. And it's never you never just I can get someone else's. We even have a narrative library, which I kind of like. I like you saying your own words, so that you're always working on how you speak and how you communicate, and it's an everyday kind of.
Yeah. So what's amazing about that is it's so important that the mentorship program's in place that you guys have, because what it is it bridges that gap from the point where you graduate from your local, whatever state you're in, you get your certification, but now when you buy your software, you move to that next level, and I cannot stress enough to all new inspectors, when you have your template, to use the narrative is a wonderful thing that Internachi provides. It gives you a really good base for everything out there. But when you go out on inspections and you use your template and you use your verbiage, it is so important to use your current SOP as a base for all your comments. So basically, I took your SOP and I went through all the exterior comments of the SOP and I put it in my template. Now I don't miss anything. This is massive. And then you can, is like you, I climb roofs, so I do extend my SOP, but I still go back to my SOP. It always stands as my base of everything I do.
That's right. In Florida and many parts of the country, you got to carry insurance. So Internachi has insurance. There's a question about do you carry insurance? So Internachi has insurance, but there are other insurance companies out there, but I prefer Internachi's. So there's that question. And then there's a question about how did you accumulate your initial business client list? How do you, is it cold calling? Is it emailing? Is it shaking hands? How did you start from zero to where you are now, totally successful?
So that's an interesting question because, we started out very differently than what we are now. When we started out, we were fortunate enough to, the same person that suggested that John become an inspector, he's a broker. And so he knew some people in the real estate business, and we ended up being fortunate enough, honestly, it was a huge break, and we were just brandy new in. And we got in touch with a large brokerage in Orlando, and we started doing presentations to them every month. And so we were teaching the new realtors, because he was recruiting new realtors all the time. So we were doing presentations. We would bring food and we would talk about our company, but we would also educate them on what a home inspection is. So through that, we were slammed. We were slammed, so busy. However, I'm not going to go into details, but, when you work that closely with a real estate office, as we did, I mean, we were doing after hours events and we were tied in, and it has its pros and cons, and just be aware that it does have its pros and cons. Some real estate agents feel like they can kind of manipulate it and get you to do as they would like you to do. So just be aware of that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but, you as a company owner have to make that choice. So we decided to kind of rebrand ourselves. And like I said, we're a client's inspector, and we really push Google. We really push reviews. We really push our website. Our website, he made it. I believe it's amazing. So I really, that's what we've gone on. So, you're going to work with real estate agents. It's part of the business, and we love the real estate agents that we work with. We are so fortunate to have some really great agents that match our brand and are looking out for the client as much as we are. So, you can market those offices. There's offices in our small little town. I really tap into our orange blossom name, and I bring them orange cupcakes, and I bring them the honey, and anything that I can do to tap into our brand and our company name, because they'll remember it.
So what's the best type of real estate agent experience that you've had? What's the best kind of agent that you like to work with? What are the characteristics of an agent that you're looking for to work cooperatively with? And maybe you could also share what's the worst experience you've ever had with an agent.
Oh, goodness. So we have one agent that is in Orlando, and her credentials are a mile long, but they are all about community. And she does a lot of the older homes. There's quite a few sections in the surrounding areas of Orlando that are restorative sections. So they're really trying to restore these older homes, from 100 years old to 50 years old. So, and they are amazing. They really are. And they have their old home problems, but yet they're all updated. And so it's really a fun experience. But she has a team that she works with. She's got like 3 girls that she has on with her, and they're a great team. So they are on top of everything. They are at every inspection. They start out, and then she comes towards the end so that her client feels, you know, that their agent is with them. So that's the most important thing, you know, that we really enjoy working with those realtors that, you know, take their client as important as we do. You know, I always say if it wasn't for the client, none of us would have a job. So, you know, it's important for all of us to pitch in and be there for that client during this process. So it's scary to a lot of people, and there's a lot of I's to dot. So, you know, I like those realtors that are in it like we are.
Yeah. So, yeah, I to answer quickly on that question. The best compliment you'll ever get from a realtor is, you know, they'll call you super thorough. But they won't use you for their clients as a whole. But when they buy a home, you're the first person they call.
Right. That's right. Yeah. I've had that experience as well, right? They're hesitant about using you as their favorite home inspector, but whenever they need a home inspection, they call you.
Yeah, exactly. It's the greatest compliment in the world. And I get it. You know, I mean, you can't go into this industry and expect to match every single different type of realtor because they're across the board. They're so different. What Amy said in the beginning is huge. And the fact that, you know, match your brand, those are the realtors that you work best with. To answer your second part of the question, some of the worst realtors, I can't, you know, it's more of a genre, right? And so the worst realtors are the ones that are representing flippers, people that flip houses. They have a different look on home inspection, and this is why 4 Point is perfect for this area. We still do it, but we're really hesitant because a lot of times the houses are in very bad condition, and when you go into it, you want to be there for the client. You want to make these calls. We inspect, you know, a $40,000 house the same way we'll inspect $1 million house. But when you're flipping situation, the aspects of the person that hired you is a little bit different than your common buyer that's just buying a home for themselves. And knowing the difference is a little more advanced as far as like the new home inspectors, but definitely keep it in your mind and make sure that you're aware of what the differences are.
Yeah, because for an investor, a major defect that you discover and report is handled differently than a first-time home buyer, right? For an investor, it's really just about money and maybe some time. How are we going to flip this and solve this problem? But for a home buyer, it's really like there's emotions involved. How do you handle communicating bad news to your clients with a real estate agent listening?
Well, we start out by saying every home has its problems. You know, you even brand new homes, they're going to have problems. And so, you know, we just want to educate you on those, and we want you to give you the tools to make your decision. So the information that we give them, we try and do it with a positive spin while giving them the full information. We want them to know what they're getting into. This is a big deal for them. So we'd like to give them all the information. And then, you know, some buyers, they know a whole slew of contractors, and it's not a big deal for them. But then you might have, you know, a single mom buyer that knows nobody. So that's a different situation for her, you know. So we just let them know that we're giving them the tools to educate them to make their big decision. And then, you know, we push that they should discuss it with their real estate agent and, you know, trust them to help them be guided in that direction and whatever they choose.
Yep.
Yeah. So when I talk to a client, you know, I don't remember how you did it at Peach, Ben, but we encourage our clients to be there. A lot of home inspectors say, come at the end. No, we want them there side by side. And let me tell you why. If you have a first-time home buyer who's never moved out of mom's house and she's buying a home, you can feel that from your client. When you talk to that client, they want to be educated. But if you know you're talking to someone and this guy hired me and he actually owns an air conditioning company, he doesn't need to know about the sidewalk. He gets it. And so you switch your mentality over and they feel that respect. So then when it comes to the time of talking about these defects, they are all ears, and you've got them. I mean, it's really now educating them and not being alarmist. A good example of that here in Florida that a lot of home inspectors fail at is the difference between structural cracking and hairline cracking as far as stucco goes. Yeah. The first thing that realtors do is, when I walk up to a stucco wall, I can tell the difference between the two because I've taken the advanced stucco course. But, and then I've actually installed stucco myself. So I know what's going on here. The fact that I walk in and I don't alarm, even when it is a structural crack, how I explain it is huge. And that right there is going to define whether you're an alarmist or an educator.
Yep. Yeah. So at our home inspection company, Peach, you mentioned it. We encouraged our clients to be with us so that we could talk. For a few reasons that you mentioned, but also I just didn't want to take a phone call in the evening or on the weekend. And also a little trick that I've been trying to explain this now. Now I've got it in my head as like, John and Amy, like when you teach and mentor others, how did you become so successful? So I realized that what I was doing for a long time, and now I'm able to describe it, was I was telling a story. Every home has a story. And it's so much fun to tell that story to someone who needs to know what is going on with the house. It could be the agent, it could be even the occupant. And no one's ever really told that story before in the way you can author it. So when I told the story of the house and it came upon a major problem, let's just say there's a hole in the roof, right? The story was that, well, this is going to, you're going to have to address this because you don't want to be living in here with a hole in the roof. It's going to rain on you. It's going to cause mold problems. The insulation is going to get wet. I never told the story with an ending like, oh, there's a hole in the roof. Takes care of that, right? Let's go to the next house. It was always like, when you move in, this is going to have to be addressed. Or maybe before you move in, ask the seller to fix the hole. And then when you move in, you go up on the roof and take a look at the patch of the hole and see how it's going. It was always like this ongoing story. It was never like a dead end. Like the story, the book never came to an end. It always kept going on. And so it was a good story. I think home inspectors are storytellers, actually, and every home has a story to tell. So that's how I approached it.
That's a great way to put it, because you're telling a story that, you're a professional telling that story. And so you've taken all your courses in storytelling and now you can provide that. And that's a great way to put that. I like that.
Matt asks, how long does the whole inspection process take you? How long does it take to tell a story?
Okay, so actually that is the meat of our brand. We are actually considered, as far as home inspection goes, we are a little on the longer side. On average for a 2,000 square foot home, we take about 2 hours. But like we were saying earlier, it really depends on who's there, how crowded the house is, and if the client has a lot of questions and if they're there the entire time. If all those things are in place, we could go to 3 hours. Condition of the home plays a factor. What they order, our inspections are so thorough, I don't literally have to do another 4-point. I can just pull the information from the actual full inspection. The wind mitt adds a little time to it. So yeah, we average about 2.5 hours, but on a normal house that's empty with nobody there, it'll be 2 hours for 2,000 square feet.
Yep.
But new homes don't make.
Do you do 1 or 2 inspections a day? Do you have multiple inspection days?
Yeah. Well, lately we've been so busy, we have been doing 2. We have that other realtor Amy was talking about, she is very hands-on and there's a lot involved. So we try not to schedule 2 on a day she does the inspection. And plus, most of her homes are 100-year-old homes. And we have this thing called crawl spaces. You out west and up north may know them as basements, but if they have a crawl space, that'll definitely take more time, and we actually do charge extra for that. There's if you look at our website and what we charge for, we charge extra for a crawl space. It's a little pricey. We used to include it, but it became when you're down there 45 minutes, you can't just lose that money as a new company. So you do need to pick your battles on what you charge extra for.
I'll be darned. Yeah, yeah, that's right. And I know we've got like 9 minutes left. I want to make sure you have time to share something that you wanted to share. Ricky has one more question though. He asks, do you offer any kind of guarantee to your clients?
No, not really. You know, that's something when we first started we were considering, and we did throw it around. But you know, there's a lot of services out there that particular one may match you as an inspector. For us, it didn't. Another one is home warranties, as far as like appliances and stuff like that. In fact, here in Florida, a lot of realtors aren't allowed anymore to carry those for their clients. It's kind of being snuffed out, and they're kind of being stuck on their own entity. Early on, we decided that we weren't going to use a lot of outside contractors just because it's less headache, especially when you're first starting out. You don't want to think about, well, it's enough to worry about your own company, but now you got 3 other entities that come into play. As far as warranties go, we stand by our inspection as day of. We are taking a snapshot of the home on the day of inspection. If we kind of bring on warranties, it kind of moves that into the next part of the phase of owning a home and that kind of stuff. And that's really we don't have a place for that, I don't think. But it's a great question. It definitely is a market for it if that's how you choose to move your company.
Yep. Is there anything else you guys want to share before we end up wrapping this up?
Well, basically, I really want to emphasize the customer service. I mean, it's my passion. So, I can't emphasize it enough. You can really, a lot of clients don't meet you beforehand. So you really have to make that first impression on the phone. That's where you get to show your education. That's where you get to show your love for what you do. And that you get to show them that you are invested in their inspection, and you are right there with them, that you are there for them, you're on their side, they hired you, and that you are there for them. So that's really important to us, and, I really impress upon that. Also, make sure that you don't, like John said, you know your weaknesses and you know your strengths. Tap into your strengths and the weaknesses, source them out. I tried to do it all at the beginning. I tried to do marketing and bookkeeping and legal and, all of that. And it really gets overwhelming. And then you lose sight of your client and what you're there for. So outsource those. We have an attorney that we can turn to at any time. We have a tax guy that we can turn to at any time. Those are all, and then Internachi. I mean, not just because we're here with you, Ben, but we think the world of Internachi. Like I said, we've used you for marketing, we've used you for learning, we've used you for, I hope you're not feeling too used, because we we really rely heavily on the product that you provide, and we've based our company around that, and we thank you so much for helping us do that.
Yeah, no problem. I think Internachi is successful because we simply listen, and whenever an Internachi member needs something, especially when there's more than one member that needs something, then we try to provide that. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, fantastic.
John, any last thoughts?
Yeah. With the mentorship program, we're available anytime. Any new inspectors or mid-inspectors have any questions, go ahead and reach out to us on our email or our web page or our phone number, whatever they're most comfortable with. The biggest thing too with inspectors is, if you have a weakness, educate it. And if you have a skill and a strength, you promote it. And that's what you ride on to get to the points where you need to. When I first moved down here to Florida, I knew nothing about split system air conditioners. As far as down here in Florida goes, I knew air conditioners up north. And, I had a friend of mine who actually worked for a company, and he actually let me tag along and be the green guy. And through that, I learned so much. And it was enough to fill that void that I had in the inspection. So use your head and just feel comfortable with it. And it just, when you're on the inspection day, if you don't understand what you're looking at, tell them, and it's okay, and tell them you'll get back to them. I learn every day. Even, keep yourself open to any market, and then find your own niche, and that's how you're successful. Don't spread yourself too thin. It's so huge.
Yep. Yep. Well, thank you, John and Amy. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the time you take. There's nothing better than having experienced master inspectors who are successful at what they do to share tips and advice and be a mentor. I really appreciate your time helping others out. That's all.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been great.
And please do me a favor, tell Nick and everybody behind the scenes at Internachi, thank you.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Thank you. All right, everybody, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye.